today. It is absolutely beautiful. We're going to go down and show you some of our garden. The sunset's just unreal, the colours. Let us know when you're on, where you're from. We would love to know what part of the world you're from. We are from Southeast Queensland here in Australia. And it's just setting on a Sunday afternoon. We've had a busy time this weekend in our garden. We had a early storm this morning, so that gave the garden a great water, so we didn't have to do that this afternoon. Our pumpkin plant is overtaking everything at the moment, so we're just making sure it doesn't overtake other plants. But the sun is setting and it's absolutely stunning to be out here in the afternoon. We've picked a couple of lemons off our lemon tree today, so I'm looking forward to adding that to my water. Oh, there's a lizard right here. Let's zoom in. See him there? Having a good old time in our garden. Thanks for joining us. We're just doing a garden tour. Probably looking for some bugs for dinner. Thanks for the like, I appreciate it. Let us know if you're watching, where you're from. We would love to have a chat with you. Thanks for joining. We are just doing a garden tour. We've got our lizard here. Let's just zoom in there for you. Having some bugs for dinner. Let's zoom out. We had a storm first thing in the morning, so the garden had a great water. We've got a beautiful sunset tonight too. Those colours are just really beautiful. We're going to pull out the corn plants this week and plant some new ones, and with something to stop the rats and mice from getting in, because unfortunately we didn't get to eat any of them. We had either some mice or rats come in and destroy them, so I was super sad. We only able to harvest one of them. We're getting our first lot of zucchini in there, so we will be monitoring that. We had a caterpillar eating one of our tomato plants. I've just done a quick video to add to our YouTube channel to show everyone this afternoon, so I had to pull that off unfortunately. But we've got some ones growing. We've got a quite big one here at the back, so just waiting for that to ripen. I'm excited because we haven't tasted any of our tomatoes yet.
Hey guys, Danny's going to head up and make our dinner, so I thought I would grab the phone and walk you guys through a little bit of what we're doing. Excuse me. Up here we have the European honeybees. They're going really well. We're just about to put a honey super on top of those. So hopefully in the next couple of months we'll be able to harvest some honey. Compost. If you're doing a garden at home, make sure you do compost. It's fantastic. The best stuff you can put in there. We have our pumpkin vine. It's growing really nice. It looks great. All the flowers are open really nicely in the mornings, letting the bees in to pollinate it. Behind the pumpkin vine we have, just seen a toad. Cane toads are a problem here. They're a pest. Oh, sorry about that. Oop, the way I'm holding the camera is not going to let you guys look at it. Sorry about that. We'll go back to the pumpkins. The pumpkins are looking fantastic. Behind the pumpkins is lemongrass. Really good in Asian cooking. It's a favorite in our family. We let it grow in the pot because it's like just like any other grass, it would completely take over the garden if you let it. Beautiful earth, you guys in the north or south. We are in the east. We're east to southeast Queensland, which is on the east coast, about halfway down Australia. We're right at the bottom of Queensland. We let the lemongrass fill out to all the way through the pot, and once it reaches the edges of the pot, we'll harvest the whole lot, rejuvenate the soil, plant some of the little ones in the middle, and let it go again. We'll pass some of it out to some friends who want to grow some lemongrass. We'll pass some of the stalks out to people who just want to cook with it, and then start it all over again. We harvest it while it's growing if we need some at the same time. But it's a nice easy plant to grow in a pot, so that's where we grow that one. Your garden is beautiful. Thank you very much. The next pot down is sweet potatoes. They're in a pot just so it's easier to harvest. You don't have to grow them in a pot. You can use a fork or something like that to harvest them out of the ground. I just find it easier to grow them in a pot. We'll continue along. We have the lemon tree here. Lots and lots of lemons. We're picking the lemons every couple of days. And there's always some herbs growing. There's some parsley down beside this one. We'll continue along to the corn plant. The corn had grown. It's a little bit small, but it's been eaten by, I'm guessing, rats, as you can see. So it's disappointing that it's happened, but there's nothing we can do. We'll mulch them back up and use them as some mulch for the garden, and we will plant another lot. Are the lemon seedless? No, they're not seedless. They're really nice, but they do have seeds. We'll come out a bit further. I did plant a second lot of corn down here, but I'm guessing whatever has eaten the kernels has eaten the little seedlings, because I think we're only left with 4. So I'll probably just go down and get some actual seedlings rather than growing them from the seed, just so we can get a harvest of corn as soon as possible. We really like it. In here we have a mandarin tree and other way around, a mandarin tree and an orange tree. The orange tree here is going to have its own big pot. We're just in the process of working through our backyard, changing it all around, getting rid of the grass and putting in big garden, so it'll have its own spot in the coming months. Is this a raised bed kind of system? Yeah, absolutely. So this is a lower section, 2-tier, and then as you come around a bit further, it raises up even higher. And then on the other side of it, there is a ground level bed there, which has got the passion fruit in it. We'll get down that end soon. Plants look very vibrant and healthy. Thank you very much. Yeah, everything's growing really nice here. It's at the end of spring. We've had a lot of rain over the last week or so, so everything is really nice. Some beetroot across the front. Beetroot's something that we'll be planting all through summer. We can actually grow beetroot here all year. We really like beetroot, so don't be surprised when you look through the garden if you'll see a beetroot here and there. We plant them anywhere that there's a gap, really. Zucchini plant. I'm probably growing this one on a trellis next time I grow up, but for this time it's just going to be in this area. So it'll grow. It's actually growing out this way at the moment. We will just continue the vine and we'll just keep going in circles all the way through summer. Take off the old leaves from the bottom and then continuing it around and keep eating the fresh fruit from the end with the flowers. Have I tried growing papaya? Papaya is, well, we don't call it papaya here. What do we call it? Can't even remember what we call it. I don't actually like it, so I don't think I'll be growing it. My daughter has tried it and she said it was nice, but it's more of a tree. So this section of our garden is more for the annuals, stuff that will grow through a season. We'll pull it out and replace it. In our front garden, we've got some of the longer plants that take longer to grow. So I might put pawpaw is what we call it. We might put a pawpaw plant out the front maybe, with some pineapples and stuff like that. So this tomato here is on a lean and lower trellis. It just means that once it reaches the top, which it's starting to get close to now, we will lower the trellis down, cut some leaves away from the bottom so the trunk just has a bit of a bow in the bottom. I need to do a bit of pruning on the tomato plant, get rid of some of the yellowing leaves in here, remove some of the leaves that are closer to the ground. But that one will continue to grow, and I'm sure we're going to get some nice stuff soon. Some basil plant down in the bottom. Sorry, just reading some comments. Do we grow all our food? I'd like to grow all our food. We don't. We just generally just grow the staples. You know, corn, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini, carrots, herbs, spices, things like that. We've got lots more plants coming. Lots more gardens coming, so we'll be able to grow a lot more of our food. I'd like to get to 80 or 90%. Here's something interesting. We've got a little spider who is building building a web. I'm trying to take the light off it and see if we can see it better. No, not really. But yeah, spider's building its web at the moment. Trying to get a good angle so you can see it.
They take it down each time.
These spiders take their webs down each morning, and then they rebuild them at night time. So this one's right in the middle of the garden, but it doesn't bother us because during the day we don't even know it's there. It's pulled its web down, it's packed up, and it's hidden away. How long have I been on the platform? I have been on YouTube just a couple of months. We're still a new channel.
Got some lighting in the background.
Struggle being a content creator. Look, we don't have a great lot of struggles. We're not trying to become, you know, the next Mr. Beast or anyone crazy like that. We're just taking you guys along for the ride. So as a content creator, it's not our main job. It's not something that we get stressed over. It's just a bit of fun. How does estimates work for growing food? When I say 80%, I just mean if I could cut down the grocery bill, not by 80%, but 80% of the fresh fruit and veg. We're going to have chickens shortly, so that will get rid of all of the egg costs. We just need to make sure we're doing it smart. You know, there's no point in spending heaps and heaps of money on seedlings if the fruit was going to be cheaper just to buy it from the shop. So we'll keep the seeds from this year's harvest to grow next year's. Am I a full-time farmer? No, I'm definitely not. We have full-time jobs. We are I wouldn't even say farmers, we're just hobby gardeners. We grow a lot of food in our backyard. The spider's sort of gone. See if we can get it. Oh, that's not too bad. It's not going to stay in focus though with the plants behind it.
Got a lot of light in the background.
We do have some lightning over in the background. I'd say there's some storms out and about. If we have any decent storms come through, we generally pop a live on that as well. Lots of people haven't seen what a storm looks like in southeast Queensland. They come in, they're quite strong, lots of thunder, lightning and rain, wind, and then they're gone. 15 minutes later the sun will be back out. It won't be tonight because the sun's gone over the horizon, but yeah, the storms are really nice, fun. How do I manage all this with a full-time job? Look, once the garden's set up, the soil's been put in, and you're growing the food, you can realistically look after a garden this size with probably 15 minutes a day. If you come down every afternoon or every morning, pull a couple of bits of grass or some weeds growing in a spots that you don't like them, harvest the fruit and veg that you've got going, pull out an old plant, put in a new seedling, you can do the whole thing in about 15 minutes. We generally spend a bit longer. Yeah, if you wanted to see us, just hit the subscribe button. We'll take you guys on a live every couple of days for a chat. And then we do videos of us harvesting, changing plants around, putting in new ones, planting seeds, lots of changes of the garden. And then we just, yeah, take you guys along for the ride. We have lots of things. We have bees, we have European honeybees, we have Australian native bees. We have composting worms.
Oh, wow, 5 acres.
Planning on making a 5-acre homestead, and 5 acres would be amazing. I would say start with what you know. Not that I should be giving any advice because I don't have a 5-acre homestead. And just expand out a little bit. You don't need to plant 5 acres of plants or, have 500 chickens or anything like that. Start with just one garden. Start with just one type of animal, learn it, figure out what you need to do to make it work, make sure you can handle it, and then add on. I'm sure on 5 acres you're going to end up with an amazing property. But yeah, I would say just start out small, learn what you can and can't do, learn what you enjoy doing more so, and then expand out from there. Another thing would be to learn when things can be planted, because if your local area, wherever you're going to buy your seedlings from, they'll have seedlings that are out of season. They've been grown hydroponically, they've been grown indoors, and you'll buy seeds, you'll plant them at the wrong season, they won't grow, you'll get disheartened. And then you'll just stop. Thinking of growing a cash crop on 80% of it for finances. Look, that would work if you can do it, if you're a good gardener. I would start, if it was me, I would start learning on a much smaller scale than 80% of my property with one crop. If you haven't got it all sorted out, you're probably putting in hundreds of dollars in seed, maybe thousands of dollars in seed. And if you haven't grown it before, don't know the seasons, don't know, how the land's going to go, it might be a loss. You might hate it. You might, they might not survive all the way through to harvest. Maybe the pests in the area are going to eat all the seedlings. You just don't know. So I would start a lot smaller than 80% on the first year. Just give it a go. If you want to try it, maybe do half an acre for a season, see how it goes. We'll continue along in the garden. We've got leafy greens here, cucumbers at the back. We've harvested all the cucumbers, the big ones today. So there is some small ones in there, but nothing too exciting to show you on those plants at the moment. Cucumbers grow extremely fast, so within the next few days there'll be more there. Down the bottom is onion plants. We planted them too late this season, but we're still picking them out as baby onions. They taste really nice and sweet. So much nicer out of your own garden than from the shops. Leafy greens have all gone to flower, so we're just letting them get ready so we can collect the seeds for next season. And past that is a tomato. There's heaps and heaps and heaps of tomatoes on this plant. You can see some in there. Lots more flowers, so hopefully we'll be able to get huge harvest. We've had a couple of pests with the tomatoes, but there's lots more there, so we can work on getting rid of the pests and enjoying our own fruit. We've planted basil. Basil is a companion plant. That's one that they said will help with the pests around the tomato plants. We have basil. We have herbs planted all through the garden. It's just a nice little filler. This end of the garden is quite empty, as you can see, but it will be full like this. This is the plan for the whole garden, is to have every piece of ground covered. I think the planting suggestions on the packs are more is if you were going to do like a cash crop like you're talking about doing on your property, you need sort of that space. The soil's going to be poorer quality than if you're doing it at home. You're not going to be fertilizing as often. So I feel that you can plant quite dense like this, basically cover every piece of ground, and then get more of a harvest out of a much smaller area if you're doing it just as a hobby. So this area all the way down will be completely full. Let's read a few more comments. Try covering those perennials. Something like a greenhouse in winter, you would not have to plant them again and again. We don't actually have to cover anything here in winter. We have a very mild winter. We can grow all year round. So things like the cucumber, the capsicums, like this one here, that's a long yellow capsicum. Once the growing season's finished, I'll just cut that back all the way down to a trunk, maybe leave a couple of little branches on the top of it, and that will stay there till next year. Things like the tomato I'll replace. There'll be lots of seeds coming from it. They're all heirloom varieties, so the seeds are true to seed, well, plants are true to seed, which just means that you can pick a seed from this plant and it will grow this plant again. Sometimes if you get a hybrid, you plant the seed and it's not going to grow the same type of plant as before. Cash. The winter is coming. Cash crop, it just means you're growing food for money. So you're being a farmer. We're not. We're hobby gardeners. We do it in our backyard for ourselves, and if there's anything left over, family and friends. Have I tried grafting? I've tried grafting for fun. I haven't really done it on any food plants that mattered. It worked a couple of times. It failed a couple of times. But it's it's fun. It's something that I'm just going to step back a little bit so we can just see a bit of the garden. It's getting too dark now to show you guys specifics. See if I can set this. Lift you guys up a little bit so you can see the sky as well. There's some lightning out there. I forget what I was talking about. Go back to some. Go back to some comments. Have I tried grafting? Yeah, as I was saying, just for fun. Nothing super interesting. Are you trying to give me English cricket team? Mate, are you trying to give the English cricket team something to do? I don't watch cricket. I'm not sure what we were going with that one. Australia is quite a cricket country. It's just not a sport that I'm interested in. In my area, this time mosquitoes would have eaten me. I'm really lucky. For some reason, mosquitoes don't bite me. So there are definitely mosquitoes. We're coming to the end of spring. So coming into summer, there's definitely mosquitoes around, just not... Oh, the English team lost badly. Okay, fantastic. Who did they lose to? Was it Australia? That would have been nice. In my area, the mosquitoes don't really attack me, which is really nice. I can stay out here all the way through sunset into the night. They lost to Australia. Fantastic. Good to hear. I'm glad we won, even if it's not my sport. Whereabouts are you from? Samboy8815. You might have bitter blood. I might have bitter blood. That's correct. Maybe like a sweetheart and bitter blood. Something like that. The things you can see flying through the back. It's funny talking about a mosquito. There's actually a mosquito flying right in front of my screen at the moment.
Ooh, that lightning.
Yeah, the lightning's going a bit crazy out there at the moment. We'll have to check a radar and see if it's coming this way. If it is, we'll definitely probably jump back onto a live because it's still a fair way away by the sounds of it. I can't really hear much thunder. Don't mind the dogs beside me, sorry about that. An Aussie living in the UK. How is it? How's it over there compared to home?
It's cold now.
You guys would be going into winter over there at the moment, wouldn't you? So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's just a steady rumble of thunder. I thought it was an aeroplane to begin with, but it's definitely thunder. So you can see the storms over here, but if you come around, the sun's gone, but we have Nice blue sky over that side. Yeah, so that's sort of the cloud front. And come back around through the garden. I didn't even actually get down to that end of the garden, but I'll give you guys a quick little go. We've got capsicum plants, king purple beans. If you haven't tried them and you would like beans, definitely give them a go. Super easy to grow, really nice, and a huge harvest. I definitely recommend those ones. In this little section right here, there's ginger. I bought it from the grocery store and planted it. It's actually just started sprouting this week. So the sprouts are only, the sprout that's come up is probably only 2 centimeters, maybe even a little bit smaller. After that, we have spaghetti squash, and under the side, near this frame here, is a passion fruit vine. Last year, the passion fruit vine grew up and all the way over the top. This year, I'm restraining it just to that small frame over in the back. It's called, what's the radar thing you mentioned? Actually, let me go back up. I like the raised beds. You need to ensure they are well watered. Absolutely, they're really big. They're 1.2 meters wide. I don't actually know how long it'll be. Maybe 9 to 15 meters, 17 meters, I'd say. So we do keep them watered well. There's irrigation in the gardens. At the moment, we've been lucky. We've been having enough rain that we haven't had to water them for weeks. What's the radar thing you mentioned? There's a storm radar, so we can look and see what storms are. Well, it's a rain radar actually, so it doesn't actually tell you a storm, but it tells you the intensity of the rain. You can generally tell if it's red or black. That's extremely heavy rain. It goes all the way down to really light blue, and that is just a shower. So yeah, we have a Bureau of Meteorology is the website, and there's apps about it. You can jump on and have a look where the rain is coming. It's cold. The disappointing part is you just can't grow crops at home like we can in Australia. Oh really? Yeah, we've always grown some type of food. I miss gardening in Australia. Gardening's fantastic. It's even as much as getting the food from the garden, just being in the garden is really nice. Just being outside, having a chat with the family, playing games, just being in the garden is fantastic, which I think I'd miss if I lived in a place that I couldn't do stuff like that. So the lightning out there is crazy. Going to be interesting to see if the storm is coming towards us. The things you can see flying in that gap in the trees there are fruit bats. They head out at sunset to feed. We haven't had a problem with them in our property. Sometimes if you've got big fruit trees, they do attract the bats, and then they come in and take all the small stuff as well. Lots of lightning. If anybody's interested in our garden or the weather here in southeast Queensland, or even just enjoys having a chat here in the evenings, hit the subscribe button. I'd really love for you guys to come back and hang out with us again. Where is everybody from? I can see there's a few people watching. Jump on, leave us a comment. Realistically, it's probably a little bit too dark to be talking about the garden. That light is coming from the house, but once we come around this way here, we generally can't see the lights from the house too much. That light there is actually a torch that I'm pointing towards the garden, but that's what it would look like without all the lights on. So we do have the storm. My wife's actually gone to see if it's coming our direction or not. Where we live, we actually got a bit of a part where where the storms split as they come up across a mountain range. So lots of times the storms miss us completely. They'll be, you know, maybe 20 kilometers away from us, above us and below us. And we just get, you know, either a little bit of rain or sometimes nothing at all. But when they do come through, storms here are pretty full on, you know, in comparison to something like, you know, a big storm, then nothing at all, you know, compared to a tornado or something. It's just some rain. But compared to what lots of people see,
we don't usually get storms from the south, but it's coming up south.
It's coming up towards us.
Yeah, and it's 26 degrees, but feels like 30. Very muggy here. Yeah,
and my wife's just come out. She had a look at the radar. It's coming from the south, which is a bit strange. Normally storms come from the west. So if it does continue straight up from the south, there's no mountain range there, which I was just talking about, to break the storm up. So this storm might get us. If it is coming up, I will jump off and then back on, because the battery on this phone is quite low. So I would hate for the storm to start and then we run out of battery. So if you want to see the storm, if it does come, hit the subscribe button, just so when I do come back on, you guys can see it. Sounds like I'm trying to get you guys to subscribe for that reason, but that's actually the truth. Oh, there's so many more comments. I didn't even realize. Sorry guys, I've been sitting here looking at a comment, waiting for someone to have a chat, and they've just been at the bottom. Let me scroll down and see what we've got going on. So you guys are in Queensland. Yes, we're southeast Queensland. We're about an hour north of the border. I'd say half an hour from the beach. So subtropical climate. The clouds seem terrifying. I haven't seen anything like it in my life. It's funny. So they're sort of just like the sunset clouds. The phone might make them a little bit more purple than they actually are in real life, but it's very similar to that. USA, we are in Australia. Welcome from the USA. Thank you for being here. We're in southeast Queensland. I have family in Beerwah. Are you from? We're from Adelaide. Okay, we are further south than Beerwah. Welcome from Adelaide. Nice to see you here. NV, is that Nevada? Would you rather have hot food and hot drinks forever, or cold food and cold drinks forever? Let me think about it. I generally don't drink hot drinks, but let's go cold. I think I would prefer cold food and cold drinks. So I could still have something like a salad sandwich or something like that. I know it's probably more thought than you expected me to put in, but yeah, I'll go cold food and cold drinks. That's a lot of lightning. It is a lot of lightning. It's like the lightning's further around this way, but I feel like if I leave the phone around this way, except for the lightning, everything else is very dark. So if I leave it this way, you guys can get some of the clouds, some of the garden, and some of the lightning. So I'll leave it that way. Mount Cootha always saving the day. Yeah, it's sort of Mount Cootha or Mount Tambourine. Splits it up for us most of the time. Good live, guys. I miss Australia. You live in a great part of the world. I live in a fantastic part of the world. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's super nice here. Got to go have fun. Thank you, Samboy, if you were still here. Appreciate the chats. Enjoyed having you here. What about your wife? Hot? I'm not sure. Hot and cold. Well, she's hot. I'll say that. She's standing beside me. She's having a nice laugh at me. What about your wife for the hot and cold? What do you think?
I'll go like you, cold.
Cold as well for my wife. I chose cold too because of cold pizza and pasta. Do you have to? I think I just have less hot food cold and more cold food, but pizza and pasta both cold are fine. So with how late it is now, let me find this little. I just got a little head torch. There's going to be some cane toads. if you don't have cane toads where you're from, they are a huge pest here. I think they're probably the worst introduced species in Australia. Okay, we have some here. Let's see if they are going to stay around. These guys are only little. So this is a cane toad. They are an introduced species. They are probably the biggest pest in Australia, especially where we're from. Some people might say things like cats would be more of a pest, rabbits maybe, but where we are, cane toads are definitely the biggest. They eat everything. They eat the bugs, the plants. They're pretty stupid. They eat the moths, they eat everything. They were originally brought in to eat the cane beetle, which was another introduced species. What's that?
They eat the green frogs.
Oh, they eat green tree frogs. They eat the native frogs in our country. They're horrible. Let's have a look. A few comments. Lol. Kick it. I'm not going to kick it. Like, I don't like them and we kill them, but I'll do it humanely. Like, they didn't choose to be born here. You know, by no means am I you know, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but I'm not going to hurt an animal for no reason. Yep, you just said it. Lol, kick it. Sad, but I get it. Yeah, look, I'm not going to hurt it. It didn't choose to be here. If I'm going to kill it, we'll collect them up and put them into a freezer. Put them to sleep is what they've been told it does. But there's lots of them at the moment. We have a creek behind the house. They breed in the creek and then they come up into the yard and eat everything, all the bugs and everything. Like there's two right next to each other. They're generally not even really scared of people. There's another one just behind it. They do have a toxin on their backs, but it's not really a problem for people. If dogs eat them, they can get sick. Most dogs, well, at least big dogs, there's another one over there on the fence I just seen jumping. Most big dogs will try one, they'll get a bit sick, they'll vomit, and then they'll never touch them again. I know for little dogs, which I've never had a little dog, but I know that it can kill a little dog. So if you had dogs in your backyard, you'd probably be a bit more careful. But for me, a few times I'll go around, I'll collect them, put them in the freezer, throw them in the trash. I'd prefer they weren't here, but I'm not going to hurt them just because they are. What do we got? Let's have a quick look. We've got 1, 2, 3 over there on the fence. 4. Okay, it's a bit hard to, I'm trying to look at them through the screen. There is 5 over there. 6 there. Taking you guys on a bit of a night trip, which I know is a bit strange for a live, but here we are anyway. 7. How ugly these little things are. Wow, huge lightning. You guys get the end of that? There's less over here. I think it's because there's less light. But they're still there. There's number 8. Nine on the concrete. I'm sure they're in amongst the pumpkin as well. The bigger problem is sometimes they sit in front of the beehive. I'm not going to shine the light on the beehive for long to see if there's any in front of it. Doesn't seem to be. They can sit in front of the beehive. When the bees pop their heads out, they eat the bees. So, which is why the beehives are up on top of a crate over there. Well, it's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. And that's just in my small backyard. So I think we got up to 8, so there's no way that there's not more than 10 in here. And that would be everybody's backyard along this creek. And even not near creeks, they breed like crazy. But we'll move on from the toads. Looks like my ex-girlfriend. Jeez. I don't know if that's an insult to your ex-girlfriend. I've never met her, but it might be an insult to toads. I'm joking though. Yep, you did get it. Fantastic. We'll come back around here, look up at the clouds and see if we got some lightning. The lightning's definitely bigger over here. Just the rest of the video is quite boring. Actually, let me come over this way. See if I guys can keep having a chat. And give you guys a bit of a view across it all. Let's see. How is... Got my phone on a little gimbal there here. It's actually just starting to rain. I just felt a couple of spots. I'm going to go a tiny bit higher up to the sky. Seems that the sky is the interesting part at the moment. My phone is now down to 5%, so I'll hang out with you guys till it gets a little bit lower, and then we will call it a night. Everyone that's watching now, whereabouts are you guys from? I think I've seen a few people come and go, so I'm sure there's some new people here. Give you a quick rundown of who we are. We are a small YouTube channel in southeast Queensland, Australia. The page is called Aussie Backyard Harvest, and most of our content is about the food and what we can harvest from our backyard. We also do some content with the storms that come through, and a little bit of just Australia. You know, I done a live yesterday. I went for a bit of a decent drive to the outback, so I had you guys on live for an hour or so, just so you can see what everything's like here in Australia. Hit the subscribe button if you're interested in any of that, but the majority of it is going to be on the garden, the food that we can grow and harvest, our bees, the chickens, the composting worms. Compost, I guess you'd say sort of homesteading style, but we just live on a small block, so yeah, most of it's about the garden, some of it's about the weather, and a real small bit of it is about broader Australia. We're not going to do anything politics related, we're not going to do anything religion related. We're just here for a fun, relaxing time with everybody. Even just to be able to look back on the growth of the garden, or a specific plant, or somewhere that we've been that we'd like to have another look at. But I'm going to head off because my phone now is down to 1%. So my name's Jay. The channel's Aussie Backyard Harvest.